Haven't we asked this question, why do we suffer? Or why do good people only suffer? Or why does God allow suffering? We quite often end up blaming our circumstances, the people around us, and in some cases, even God. Let's today understand this. Are we living a life true to ourselves, or are we just trying to imitate and be like others, and thereby going far, far away from who we truly are? Sometimes, as a result of our conditioning, we see our lives only from the viewpoint of our parents, teachers, relatives, society, and our true self gets covered by layers and layers of conditioning, and we lead a masked life. There are times when we feel suffocated, or we say that there is so much vacuum in our life, or in spite of having everything in our life, why are we still unhappy? If this happens quite often, then know that it's time to take the journey inward. When difficulties come our way, the first question we ask is why me? Have we tried to look beyond the why me and made an effort to see the real cause of everything that's happening? We always look for someone who could take away our difficulties and make our life free from any hardships without realizing that it is in facing those hardships our inner growth takes place. God has also bestowed upon us free will. God allows us to perform our actions, called karma, through our free will. He doesn't interfere or controls our actions. Then, having performed our actions, we receive the result of those actions, which may be in the form of enjoyment or suffering. So, enjoyment or suffering is a result of our own actions. We must understand that we are responsible for all the good and the not so good things that happen to us. It is exactly as a result of our actions or what we did in this lifetime or our past lifetimes. We may even ask that in the midst of this pandemic, there is so much suffering, disharmony, disease all around, and all of it so in the presence of God. The scriptures of the world inform us that there is no chaos in this world. It's us who have been unable to understand the order behind it. The whole world is designed perfectly for the gradual evolution of our souls over a continuum of lifetime. That evolution is the purpose of the universe. That does not mean that everything is aimed for our pleasure and enjoyment. Very often, growth requires difficulties, hardships, challenges, and that is where people have difficulties in accepting the higher will. And then comes the question, can we escape suffering? Everyone who is born must die. Each of us is confronted with constant challenges that test our will. We can't escape this. We must accept the fact that we can't control our circumstances. But what we can control is the way how we respond to it. What makes some people more resilient than others? Resilience is simply adapting well to adversity, tragedy, or trauma. Those who recognize that struggle is a stepping stone to what lies ahead and who we are able to relinquish control have a better and a stronger ability to bounce back. We all know about Oprah Winfrey. She may be one of the most successful women in the world today, but not many know that she worked her way through tough demons to be what she is today. She suffered sexual abuse from several family members at the age of 10. At 14, she became pregnant, but soon lost her baby after giving birth. She harbored this painful secret for years. She shared that she realized that having the secret out was liberating. Holding the shame was the greatest burden of all. Despite the trauma, Oprah was an honor student, earned a full scholarship for college, and is now a woman that millions look up to and admire. It wasn't an easy journey for J.K. Rowling as well. She was born in a lowly English family, battled depression, suicidal tendencies, and poverty to become one of the most loved authors in the world for her hugely popular Harry Potter series. Highly imaginative as a kid, who thrived on stories, she drew inspiration from her surroundings and the people in her life for her books. And my favorite, Steve Jobs, who was given away for adoption by his biological parents, had to drop out of college because his education was costing his foster parents a lot. He used to return Coke bottles for money and live on free meals at the Hare Krishna temple. If you look at Jobs' life, he struggled and succeeded only to struggle and succeed again. What it feels to get fired from your own company, who knows it better than Steve Jobs himself? He said that the heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Less sure about everything, it freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. He rose above personal struggles to become one of the most successful innovators and businessmen. In many ways, his career has become a model and inspiration to young entrepreneurs. The list doesn't end here. Dhirubhai Ambani, Rajnikant, Jim Carrey, Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, Beatles, Leonardo DiCaprio, Thomas Edison, and many, many more show that you are greater than your suffering. Suffering arises when there is a notion that there is an I that suffers. What if the I that suffers is just a belief, it's just an assumption? If we look directly in our experience, even the body to be known for suffering, there has to be an awareness. Pain may happen as an experience, but suffering is optional, purely optional. As Ramana Maharishi said, know who you are and all else will be known. Happiness is your real nature. You identify yourself with the body and mind, feel its limitations, and suffer. Realize your true self in order to be open to the store of unalloyed happiness. That true self is the reality. That is the supreme truth. For the last 2 years of his life, Ramana Maharishi suffered from cancer and experienced great physical pain. But even towards the end, he maintained the same tranquil poise and self-same radiant smile. At one instance, a disciple ran away crying because he could not bear to see his master in pain. Maharishi only smiled and spoke to a disciple nearby. He is crying because he thinks I am suffering agonies. My body is suffering, but I am not suffering. When will he realize that I am not this body? All suffering will vanish and dissolve in itself when we discover our true nature, when we plunge into intense meditation on the nature of who am I.